In this video, I want to react to faceiq on how to max out your face and height full guide.
Yo, what's up everyone? faceiq here, also known as Frost. That's my real name. I know I've never actually said it on the channel. F-R-O-S-T, Frost, that's my name. And by the end of this video, you will understand what to do and not to do during puberty to max out your bone structure, your height. Again, I'm 6'5.5", and I actually did these things and didn't do these things.
You're 6'5" because of genetics. Genetics is 80% of height. Like, stop claiming you're just 6'5" because of raw meat and raw milk. That's a lie. I never ate those things and I'm way taller than my dad. And I don't claim it's my lifestyle. It was just genetics. And sometimes you're way taller or way shorter than your dad. It's just genetic recombination. It's genetics. Your lifestyle is 20% of it. So maybe if you do everything correctly, you may be like 1 inch taller or something, but it's 80% genetics. Like, this is just BS. Oh, I'm 6'6" because of my diet. No, you aren't.
Yes, I did eat raw meat during puberty and before puberty, actually. Very blessed to have been fed raw meat and raw milk. And again, unlike other influencers, I actually did these things and didn't do these things to get to 6'5.5".
Number one is an anecdote. Number two, genetics is 80% of it.
6'5", 3/8, depends on the day. Okay, so yeah, let's hop right into it. Let's start at the things you shouldn't do during puberty. Let's see the magic needle. What are we gonna pick? Stress. Stress is not conducive to growth. It's conducive to aging. It's gonna make you look worse, but not grow. Avoid it. Drugs. This is huge. You guys all probably know things like alcohol. Terrible for you. Duh. Literally can cause brain development issues. It's a poison. Things like caffeine should still be avoided. Okay, caffeine.
I would just avoid caffeine because it worsens your sleep. It has a really long half-life. But other than that, coffee is associated with a longer life. I just don't consume caffeine because it disrupts my sleep. That's the only reason.
It's going to stress you chronically. It's going to raise your cortisol, raise your adrenaline over the day.
But the cortisol raise is pretty short-lived. You're not going to be chronically with high cortisol. That's when problems start to arise. When it's just acute, when it's very short-term, it doesn't really matter.
Your sleep, it's going to mess up your sleep as well. If you have an energy drink at 12 in the day, 12 at night, a quarter of that caffeine is still in your system, okay? Because it has a 6-hour half-life, 12-hour quarter life. It takes forever to get out of your system. Nicotine, it's a vasoconstrictor. Same with caffeine, actually. It's going to make your skin age. Stay away from drugs.
Yeah, nicotine and stress, they can contribute to hair loss and bad skin. Obviously, don't do them if you want to maximize your looks.
No alarms. Simple. If you have to wake up at 7 a.m., dial your sleep back earlier so you wake up naturally, okay? Every time you wake up to an alarm, your body was saying, we need more time for sleep. We need more time for repair and growth. And you're telling your body, no, we have to go to school. Even though school is stupid and a waste of your time, you're going.
For you, maybe. For others, not really.
Going to do that instead of sleep. That's dumb. Honestly, I'd recommend you sleep in school rather than wake up to an alarm. This is what actually matters. School doesn't matter. Endurance activity.
You're a YouTuber. Of course it doesn't matter for you. You're just generalizing. Doing well in school is still a good predictor of success in life. It does give you way more opportunity than if you just have bad grades.
So running marathons, running your 5Ks, those are not conducive to growth. Okay, those are actually very stressful. I'm not against the gym in puberty, but I think it should be moderated. I think it should be 3 times a week, 45-minute-hour sessions.
That's already pretty high volume. That's more than enough to grow muscle. And also the marathon thing, like, people don't do marathons because it's healthy. Like, everyone knows that if you run for hours and hours straight, it's going to be bad for you. Like, if you just want to run for health, then you would just do half an hour to an hour a day. Everyone knows that running for 5 hours or 10 hours straight is going to be bad for you. But people who run marathons are still healthier on average. Not because of the marathon thing, but because of the physical activity and just healthier habits in general. But yeah, I don't think anyone runs for 10 hours straight hoping to get healthier. That's not a thing.
It should be high, it should be high intensity, low volume, and you should have breaks between your sets, okay?
Just do whatever you want. Like, exercise is good for you no matter what. Like, whatever you find the most fun, you're going to do the most of it, and it's going to have the most benefits. And no one's telling you to overtrain and exercise 5 hours a day or something. Like, if you exercise 1 hour a day, like, it's going to make you healthier than if you don't. And the biggest benefits come from not being sedentary. So movement and doing stuff, just movement in general, just not being stuck in the same place all the time. It's going to have most of the benefits. Exercise is healthy. Studies show it's healthy. Outcome studies show it's healthy, and that's all that matters.
If you want to go to the gym in puberty, stay away from running. That is going to age you not in the right way. That's not going to grow your bones. It's going to deplete your bones, actually. Stay away from that. Need any proof, by the way? Just anecdotally, I understand.
Of course, anecdotes, as always.
And biochemistry too. Look at marathon runners and bicyclists. Endurance bicyclists, you do not want to look like them in their 40s.
Because they spend all day in the sun. The sun contributes to 80 to 90% of skin aging. So of course, if you're hours in the sun running all the time, you're gonna age faster, obviously. It's not the running.
Be my guest, take a look at them. You'll see what I mean. And the number one most important thing not to do in puberty, eat plants or seeds, okay? Especially the seeds.
Okay, show me outcome studies.
So again, Botany 101, every plant, and especially the seed, the offspring of the plant.
It doesn't matter. Oh my God. It doesn't matter, like, mechanistically what you think happens. It matters the outcome of people that eat those. And the outcome is they live longer.
Is defending itself really hard and blatantly with things like phytic acid, oxalates, tannins, trypsin inhibitors. There's a million anti-nutrients and defense chemicals and carcinogens in every plant and seed.
Anti-nutrients, for example, fiber is one of them. It actually has anti-inflammatory benefits. Fiber ferments in your gut, then the chemical reaction releases butyrate, which is a short-chain fatty acid. That is anti-inflammatory. It's going to reduce CRP, IL-6, TNF-alpha, basically inflammatory markers. Like, just because it's technically an anti-nutrient and it has anti before nutrient doesn't mean it's bad for you. It's just semantics. Like, it doesn't matter what you call it. The outcome data shows it's positive.
Stay away from them, okay? And I'll give you a real reason. Spinach, for example, oxalate heaven. Well, hell, really. It's abundant in oxalates, which are going to suck the calcium out of your gut.
Then just don't eat spinach. You don't have to eat spinach. And the people that got problems, they basically were eating a ton of spinach every single day. That's why they had oxalate overdose. But spinach is not even recommended to eat a ton of every single day. Like, I don't eat spinach. But if you eat spinach every once in a while, you're going to be fine. And the outcome data still shows that people that eat spinach are healthier on average.
Out of your bones, oxalates build up in your body. Oxalates are, I should make a whole video in depth on them. They're one of the most toxic things I've ever seen. Stay away from them. Seeds. Every seed has phytic acid in abundance because the seeds are the most protected part of the plant. They're the plant's offspring. Plants do not give a fuck about your health, obviously.
And do the animals that you eat do? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, this is all mechanisms. This is all speculation. The outcome data shows that people that eat more seeds, they have better biomarkers. They have better lipid profile. They live longer. That's all that matters. Why are we hyper-focusing on mechanisms? It's not even at the top of the hierarchy when it comes to evidence quality.
Plants are interested in spreading their own species. So when you eat seeds, especially uncooked, the amount of phytic acid you're getting, that's binding to your calcium, binding to your minerals, things like iron. Stay away from it. I have plenty of studies linked down below about plant defense chemicals.
Oh yeah, I read the studies. They were all mechanistic. Like, you have to look at outcome data. And the outcome data shows people that eat more plants and seeds, they live longer and have better biomarkers. That's all that matters. And there's no data on raw meat and raw dairy. So you're basically just following a diet with zero studies.
Okay, so now you guys know what to avoid. Here's what to do. So eat raw meat and raw milk. Okay, and I was blessed. I was eating raw meat and raw milk since the age of 2. Because my mom met a guy named Agnes von der Planitz. You guys may have heard of him. And I was a very sick kid, and my mom got a consult with Agnes, and Agnes told her, feed your kid raw meat, raw organs, raw milk. And my mom listened. And I was tall as fuck in 5th grade. I was taller than my basketball coaches in 5th grade. Okay, and when I went off this diet, I stopped growing. It could be coincidence. That could have been my natural, I'm not trying to sell you too hard on it. That could just be my natural.
Again, anecdotes, doesn't matter. Like, I was tall as well, and doesn't matter. It was not the lifestyle. Like, it's 80% genetics. And you can be taller than your parents, you can be shorter than your parents. Genetics is not completely predictable because genetic recombination comes into play as well. If you had a different diet, you would have assumed the same thing. Oh, it was my diet. No, it's genetics.
Natural aim of my height, but until about 7th grade, I was eating raw meat and raw milk and raw eggs from the farm. Some cooked food too, cooked seafood, some raw seafood, a lot of sushi when I was growing up. This is what you need to eat. So if I were to give you a tier list of what to eat in puberty, raw animal foods, cooked animal foods, fruits.
Like, raw meat, basically, protein does help with height and calcium to reach your genetic limit, but you're still limited by genetics. Like, if your genetic limit is 5'10", you're not gonna overdose raw meat and then become 6'6". It doesn't happen. Like, having the precursors just help you reach your genetic limit. And most people, they're not deficient in protein and calcium. So it's not like most people are deficient. They aren't. So it was genetics.
Okay, don't look at fruits as what's going to grow your bones. They obviously won't. They have some vitamin C and some trace minerals, and then sugar. You don't need sugar to grow either. Ketosis is actually very conducive to growth, and your IGF-1 and GH will be sustainably high on a proper diet. You're going to be getting magnesium, zinc, vitamin D, vitamin K2. Things are actually conducive to high testosterone and a lot of growth. People are starting to understand how important
it doesn't matter like, oh, these specific nutrients, just get everything. Like, just get a diet that gets everything, that reaches pretty much every target when it comes to micronutrients. Instead of overthinking of, oh, vitamin D is more important than magnesium. No, it's all important. You have to get everything if you want to reach your genetic limits.
animal foods, especially raw animal foods, are for growth. Maximize them. Again, it's worth saying from a good source. I don't eat raw ground beef from the store. I'll cook it, okay? It is not good. It's not as good as...
Yeah, that diet is super expensive. Like, I fell for the organic meat propaganda like 10 years ago, but it was very short-lived, and nothing changed. The only thing that changed was my bank balance decreased.
Fresh raw ground meat, I just can't afford it and don't really have access to sustainable raw meat. Dude, sleep. Obviously, GH is released during sleep. Sleep is when you grow.
Yeah, sleep is when you produce human growth hormone, which is what makes you grow. And then what closes your growth plates is estrogen, so if you want to minimize that, just be lean, basically. If you're overweight, you're going to have too much estrogen, and you may not grow as tall because you're going to have more estrogen to close the growth plates.
And avoid alarms, avoid those stimulants, max out your sleep if you want the most conducive puberty. I mean, a lot of you guys on my channel already know this stuff.
But of course, like the people watching, this doesn't apply to you. Your growth plates are already closed for most people watching, so it doesn't really matter. Even if you do all these things, your height's not going to change.
But for anyone new, sun, man, so important, so crucial. Okay, never avoid it. Never use the toxic sunscreens. Embrace the sun. Be outside in the sun.
I wish this was true. But we have a bunch of data showing that tan is an indicator of DNA damage and skin cellular aging, and sun is responsible for 80% or more of visible skin aging. And the thing about the sun is there's nuance. There are pros and cons. For example, a few positives. It's a vasodilator, so it's good for the heart. That's one reason why people in sunnier countries, they tend to live longer, because they die less from strokes, because sun is a vasodilator. That's one reason. Other benefits are, for example, it's good for your vision. Like, if you're inside all the time, always looking at things right in front of you, you're going to need glasses eventually. So it's good to be at least 2 hours outside, hopefully during the day, if you want to keep your vision. And the sun also has circadian rhythm benefits. There are benefits to the sun. But then there are the cons. For example, it increases skin aging and increases DNA damage in the skin. It also can thin out your skin, your fat pads. But basically, you can get all the benefits from the sun without the negatives, just by using sunscreen and being UV protected. The sun has pros and cons. You can avoid the negatives and get all the positives, which is vision, circadian rhythm, vasodilation, etc.
If you have something you can do out in the sun, do it. If you're on your laptop, take it outside. Get some sun.
I do think most people should be outside more. There are studies that show that people that spend more time in the sun, they live longer on average, which is true. By far, one of the worst things you can do for your health is to be inside all the time and be sedentary. And people that are more time in the sun, they live longer, but they also get more skin cancer and more skin aging. So you can get all the positives without the negatives if you just protect yourself from UV.
You're reading a book, it's a waste of time typically. Anyways, go outside and read your book, right? Do what you can out in the sun. By the way, you'll be happier. Like, even when you're with girls, like, let's say you go take a girl outside to a picnic, they will love that shit compared to you being in your little musty basement watching some boring ass shit on the TV. Go outside, embrace it. It's more fun anyway. Lastly, low stress. Try your best. I'm not your stress coach, but try your best to mitigate stress. Stress is a killer to your growth and aging. Well, it'll age you, but again, it won't make you grow. So I'd stay away from stress if I were you. So yeah, guys, that's just a quick little video going over the fundamentals. Again, there's a lot more.
All right, I guess that's it. So basically, all these are kind of, I mean, these ones are obviously false. It's just anecdotes and mechanistic speculation. It didn't really show outcome data, which is what matters. But most of them, I guess, are correct. But yeah, a lot of misinformation in this video, which I'm not surprised. And of course, he downplays genetics when it comes to height, when genetics is 80% of it. If he had a different diet when he was younger, he would still be tall, and he would probably say that it was the other diet. But yeah, I disagree with a bunch of stuff that he said. There's lack of outcome data. And the other things that he was right on, they're just really obvious, like being outside, sleeping, stress, etc. But again, they won't really do that much. Just try to get all the micronutrients, try to move more, try to sleep enough, etc. Those are like common sense. But yeah, that's it.